Welcome to Bubbles and Breakdowns, a space designed for you to show up as your beautifully imperfect self, where we dive into the good, the bad, and the bubbly. I'm Katrina.
And I'm Ashley. Do you ever feel like you're constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop, even when things are going pretty great? Well, in this episode, we're breaking down that anxiety trap, that exhausting cycle where what-ifs and worst-case scenarios are quietly hijacked in your mind. We'll explore how anxiety acts as a thief in the night, stealing your present-day joy and shrinking your world into a fortress of fear and keeping you from fully experiencing the richness of life. Okay? So on the previous episode, we talked about rumination, which focuses on things in the past. And now, like as promised, we're talking about taking a look at anxiety, which comes while thinking of your future. If you're tired of sitting on the sidelines of your own existence and are ready to reclaim that peace, press play. It's time to stop just dealing with the worry and start truly living.
I think anxiety that steals life or stops us from taking bold choices or going on the trip or whatever, gosh, no bueno.
No bueno.
No
And I
bueno.
think for me, my anxiety started to peak as I got more responsibilities.
Ooh, interesting.
You know, so it's
Like little people that
little
you need to keep alive.
more intense jobs where you're, you know, either managing people or managing huge projects that affect a lot of people and their deliverables and their due dates, right?
Yeah.
So it just kind of, you're not just worrying about yourself. It is, at least for my anxiety, usually stems from to-do lists, things I have to do. And again, like we said, this future facing event, it could be anything, right? Like a meeting, an interview,
Yes.
a trip, anything,
Right.
where you're really just ruminating.
You're
But, like,
planning for the worst
yes,
case scenario, or you're like
are.
you're anticipating things to not go well, and that's where anxiety comes in. I think let's just break it down a little bit.
Yes,
So like
please.
we talked about rumination.
Yes.
Rumination's replaying events.
Yep.
It's past focus. It's usually emotions that come up are like sadness, regret, frustration. We'll say things to ourselves like, why did I do that? Or why does this happen to me? And we talked about how changing why into how. So if you didn't hear that on rumination, go back and hear some of our tips for breaking down rumination. And then what's the driver behind it? Like we want to try and understand something. We want to fix something that's unchangeable. So like not good. But anxiety is, like you said, it's future.
Yes.
It's fear. It's dread. It's anticipation. What if this goes wrong? Like, what if I start public speaking at this live meeting with 500 people in the room and I start crying or I can't get the words out? And what that driver is like we're trying to control or avoid the unknown.
And I know we've talked about this on previous episodes too, about catastrophizing. And I think I invented it. Like I didn't, because it's been around forever, but like literally in my soul. And I don't know if this came from my lack of control growing up, where I need to make sure everyone's safe, everyone's grounded, everyone has, you know, I'm trying to set everyone up for success.
Yes.
Whatever that means, a happy trip, a safe trip, a great project, like everything. I want to protect my name. I want to protect my people, and I want to succeed.
Yeah.
And there's so many times that I take that to the nth degree, and I am making up situations in my head that could happen. Anything can happen, but the likelihood of me being stuck in that, just thinking about that future and creating this anxiety for a happy event is exhausting.
So what you just described actually is a coping mechanism of anxiety, which is it makes so much sense for all of our type A. Shout out type A. If you're type B, I'm like, girl or boy,
No, just kidding.
I'm just like, I admire you. Like, I'm just going to go with the flow and let these dirty dishes sit in the sink. Number one, I can't do that.
No.
Number two, I don't know if I would ever want to, but either way.
Okay, I've done it before. I'm not gonna lie. I am type A, but
Yeah.
like sometimes I'm so tired. But then it's like you're screwing over your tomorrow self.
You don't want to have to deal with it. So the point of it, though, is that over preparing. So it's not just like thinking about it and having the feelings of anxiety. Now we're coping by over preparing. We're making lists. We're making backup plans to the backup plans. We are having this schedule in case this weather is that way, this schedule in case this weather is that way. And we're having, we could eat here. Or if we're not feeling it, we can just boil these noodles back at the Airbnb.
Like, this is my vacation.
No, right. And it's mine too, to some extent. Or, okay, we've got sunscreen in that bag, but what if we don't bring that bag? Let's bring this other bag. And so what that is...
Wait, do we have bug spray?
We do have bug spray. What about Band-Aids? What if we run out of Band-Aids, right? And this is anxiety, but because now you're channeling it into over-preparing, it's trying to soothe. You're trying to soothe yourself by being like, I will only feel good unless I've got bug spray and Band-Aids and sunscreen in every single bag and a backup pair of undies and blah, 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 and snacks on snacks on snacks, or snacks in this cubby and then there's snacks in this bag, blah, blah, blah. Because you're so worried that you think if you do enough, you're not going to be worried. And let that just like set in, you know, like if you do enough, you're not going to be worried. What if you do all of that and you're still worried?
You know what? I would almost claim doing that makes me more worried.
Right. It stirs it up because then you start catastrophizing more and it kind of like scope creeps. And then all of a sudden you're worried about every little thing.
I just think of the times where I went with the flow, which is very rare, but I try to do it because everyone's like happier when I do that.
Yes, yes.
But I am so much more relaxed. It's weird, like letting go of that and just being like, I'm just going to kind of see what happens today.
Yes.
Actually makes me more present.
Right.
Because I'm not thinking about like, oh, I did pack those extra snacks. You need them now.
Right.
Oh, I did get a pair of extra dry shorts for everyone because we're going to have dinner at the beach. Like, but also if you sit wet in a car seat for 10 minutes, does it matter?
Right. Like, let it go.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like at all.
And that's the thing though. I think there is such beauty in saying, I've like fawned over this concept of having kids old enough that don't have diapers and all we do is leave the house with a water bottle. And we're like there.
Oh my God. We are not, but I've been starting to do that. And I'm like,
it's not that bad.
We just have a random thing of wipes and a diaper in the car. Sometimes I don't even know if we have a diaper.
Yes.
And I'm like,
yes. And then
pulling the Hail Mary today.
But also think about the beauty in your self-reliance in the fact of like, hey, I trust myself that if something happens, I can pivot and it's going to be okay. Like that is such a better self-regulated approach to life instead of this like over preparing. Like I think Matt probably looks like at me when I'm getting ready to go to Door County, Wisconsin or whatever. And I'm like, you've got this entire, counter filled with every snack we need for every single day. And we got backups and we're, I don't want to go shopping too much. And, do we need to pack these berries because they're going to go bad and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I don't really care. Like, just do what you need to do to feel good. And I'm just
you're like, I'm like, point taken.
Yeah, point taken. I'm like, do we bring their bikes and their scooters or just their scooters? And da da da. And the thing is, like, there comes a point where preparing for the trip just like makes you so tired because you're in this cycle. And if
you're
you don't,
kind of burning yourself
you're burning yourself out. And then by the time you get to said place that you were so busy preparing for, you've already exhausted all your energy just packing to get there. And now you're there. And then guess what? Anxiety just stole you from being able to enjoy the trip because you literally used up all your energy packing the perfect snack bags. Like, let that sit in.
Well, okay, so let's just talk about control.
Yes. Oh, what do you mean? What are you trying to say?
And like, no, like, is control an illusion? Do we really have control over anything?
No.
We can be prepared for what we think can or cannot go wrong from our anxiety-ridden mental state. Yes. But there is this illusion of control, I think, especially in our type A selves that we're not used to failing.
No.
We're not. And when we do, it is a gut punch. It's
hurting. It hurts.
We'll ruminate about it later. But like, like those are the things of like, I think number one is like, let's realize this anxiety, all these anxieties are going to make us have this like control response of like, I'm thinking about that. I need to control it. I need to, I am the house on Disney's Up. And all of I'm holding all those balloons.
Yeah.
By the way, we just watched this movie for the first time, which I'm like.
By the way, tearjerker.
Oh, it's cute. So but like, cute. Literally, you're trying to hold all these balloons.
Yeah.
they're not going to all stay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay, though. Maybe the house will flail. Maybe it'll keep flying. Like, who knows? But, like, I feel like that's a really good comparison of just, like, you can only hold so much.
You can.
And, like, also, who cares?
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, I think I'm getting to that point in my life where I'm just like, if we don't have a snack, let's run to Target on the road. Like,
Yes.
whatever. Like, you. Also, I think we're used to setting people up for success because you want to also enjoy.
Yes.
That's where I think is
Yes.
at the heart of it. But it's at what cost is this doing to us to control little things that really don't matter?
I love it. So can I give an example?
Yeah.
Of
Example away.
a recent experience. We took our kids to their first ever Major League Baseball game in the city, and it was you know, it was an experience. It was an experience. But I packed the bag because I was like, just in case, da 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 da. And this is actually an example of, like, I didn't overthink packing. I really didn't. I was like, I think we need to just throw some things in a bag, and we did. Like, just threw some things in the bag. Made it through the day. The kids were cold because we were in the shade and da-da-da. And we moved and we went outside and warmed up in the sun. But we didn't have pants for my daughter. We had pants for my son and whatever. So we kind of like were making the best out of the worst in some cases. We make it through the whole day. We're back on the platform at the train that we're taking back to the suburbs. And I had gotten these 2 delicious yogurt parfaits, and I was like, this will be a great healthy snack for the way home. And they were like, let's eat it now. So then I give my son a scoop of the yogurt, and he's like, I don't like it. And I said, my whole thing is swallow it and then drink water. We're not going to go spitting food out. Swallow it and then drink some water. He tries to swallow, Ashley. He throws up everywhere, all over himself, all over the platform. And I'm sitting there in utter disbelief. I mean, it is ball game barfaroni. It is terrible. And I'm like, okay, I can either freak the F out or I can start solutioning. So what do? I get anything I have in that bag.
Give me those extra pants.
Yes. And like his shoes were covered in it. I'm like, we don't even have wipes with us. We didn't even have wipes. And at the end of the day, I was like, I looked at Matt and I said, it's okay. We'll throw them in the tub when we get home. And it's an example of, like, you can even be prepared and something will just come at you. And you know what the coolest thing about that experience is? That happened and the world didn't fall apart.
Totally.
That happened and it didn't ruin the day.
Well, and I think
you know, you just get through it.
But also, kids and people feed off of others' energy. So if you made that a thing and you're like, oh, I knew I should have done this.
Why didn't we have wipes?
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
right.
They feel that pressure too.
And then their anxiety goes up.
Yes.
And then they feel like a bad person. And like, instead, what do? You say, oh, sweetie pie, da-da-da, I'm so sorry. Are you feeling okay? Oh, that's the worst. You know, and you just kind of like get through it. And I think that's the beauty of how do you like calm your anxiety is almost like kind of going through those situations where even if you were prepared, something like a curveball, literally to go with the baseball analogy, comes in and you're like, oh, wasn't planning for puke on the platform, but here we are. And the more of that you have in your life, it almost can help us desensitize, saying, actually, there is no such thing as being completely prepared. There is no such thing as being perfect or having everything just so.
Well, and even like we're talking about, right? Like the anxiety is caused by future facing things, right? Being prepared. So does that take us out of the present a little bit too?
Right. It robs, like, what do they say? Worrying about the future robs you of the joy today.
Right. And the present is a gift or whatever.
Yeah. It's called a present because it's a gift.
Open it.
Yes. Open today.
Whatever. Right. But, but like, it's true.
Yeah.
It is. There's so many things like also we were talking about trying to think critically. Maybe it's good to think on the fly.
Yes.
Of course, we don't want people to be covered and throw up. And
no.
but it's seriously
who could have guessed that though?
That like everyone's okay, right? Like
everyone's alive.
We're surviving, but it's also just kind of like okay.
And we were the stinky family on the train.
And also, what do we want to pass on? Preparedness. I love preparedness, but we can take it to the extreme.
Yes, and that's what anxiety does.
Do we want to pass that on?
Right.
I don't think so.
The
buck stops here.
I love this, and I think the other thing too is there's just certain times in our lives that we have to say, not today, anxiety. And I'll give an example of that coming up.
We're checking you at the door.
We're like, nope, you are not coming here. Here's a perfect example. And I literally just told Matt maybe 2 nights ago. So we have a very exciting trip coming up. It's our first adults only, all inclusive for a 40th birthday for one of my closest friends. And it's 3 nights away from our kids. We have never done this ever.
It's only 3 nights.
I know.
I would have been like, stack it.
So I'll tell you why I couldn't, and also why I probably wouldn't. Number one, it's a lot to ask of the people who are caring for our children.
It is.
But also, we genuinely miss them like crazy. And I'm sure that when I'm leaving to come home, I'll be like, we could have stayed a couple more nights. But I also, the day after we get back, have to pack my bag up and go on a 3-night work trip. And
a lot going on.
And I am helping lead through this event. I'm helping to prepare some of the learning sessions. It's a high responsibility. And I said to Matt, I am not going to let the fact that trip is going to happen right after one of the most incredible opportunities to relax rob me of my relaxation on that trip. No. I'm going to act as though it's not even happening. I'm going to just be like, okay, I'm going to pack for my work trip. Everything's going to be ready for me for when I get home. And then I'm going to not think about it to the best of my abilities, because I don't want that fear, that dread creeping into what's going to be such an amazing memory making trip with our closest friends.
There's so many times where I've had work ruin vacations.
Yes.
And it really is unfortunate, because your work is your way of means, right? It is providing you a life. It is providing you things. If you're lucky enough, you fall into a place that you also enjoy it. And, but again, type A, pressure prepared people, it's very hard to disconnect, especially when you work from home, especially with technology. Like, I can't even imagine 1950s workers.
I know.
Could you, you leave and then, no one's checking in with you? I don't get
internet on our phone. Yeah.
I don't get a Slack. I don't get whatever people are using these days. To be more present, you can't even really take work home. Maybe it's a piece of paper that you're writing stuff down. It's not a computer. It's not the internet. It's not email.
We're so reachable.
I wish we could get more back to that.
I know.
Too, which is really unfortunate. But I mean,
I have a rule on my team, Ash, where I'm like, if you're on vacation, I literally don't want to hear from you.
I love that.
Period.
I wish more people would do that. I had a manager that was like that too. She's like, anything I would need you for, I could figure out.
Exactly. I always say, we are not doctors, heart surgeons. No one's dying on a table. Exactly. It'll be here when you get back. And I think, gosh, if you're a manager out there, just employ that strategy, because it does create anxiety. I remember going on many trips as well, Ash, where I had to check in my email every single day because there were things that no one else could, quote unquote, do. And the higher ups made it sound like it was the worst thing ever if we couldn't get it on time. Mm-hmm. And I think at the end of the day, you do need to be intentional. If you tend to be a worrier or an over planner or have anxiety, you need to be intentional with going into things and saying, not today, anxiety. Not today. Check them at the door. Drop that anxiety bag off, because if you don't, you're going to look back at that vacation and be like, oh my gosh, I spent half the time worried.
Right.
Do we want to be worried all the time?
So let's talk about this.
Yes. Flip it.
What do we think? Just trying to be how do we start changing?
Right.
How do we start?
Let's change, please.
Making us less anxious, because anxiety, like we talked about too in the rumination episode, is affecting our health, right? Yeah. Anything that hires our stress, that we start, people pick their face, whatever, it's not good for us. We need to have control. We need to use control, but we need to keep
it in check.
We need to keep it in check. So what do we think is one tiny realistic thing we could do this week to pause the frantic and just be, especially maybe we're here in summer. I think everyone thinks of, let's jam everything into these 6 or 8 weeks or 12 weeks or whatever.
Summer bucket list.
Right? Yeah. It was there's only 10 summers left of your children.
Thanks for the guilt.
I know. But what is one thing that we can just start to be? Mm-hmm. What do you want to try?
My micro practice, a realistic thing. I think realizing when I start to clean, when my children
That you'll come to my house?
Yeah. I'll pick it up and go. Yeah. No, like when I start to clean or like fuss, I tend to like fuss and clean a lot. And I think I need to employ a strategy to check myself on that and say, put the Dyson down and go sit with your kids and play a game. That will be my little, and I'm not going to do it all the time, but I think my intention, even this morning, I had trimmed my son's toenails and started to clean them up with the Dyson. And as I was about to do that, I was like, you're only cleaning this area. And I did only clean that area. Good. Instead of doing the entire first floor, which is normally what I do. And so I think for me, it's like, honestly, because cleaning is a little form of anxiety for me. It's like my control over having a clean space. That's me trying to cope with whatever I'm worried about. So yeah, that's one of mine. What about you?
That's a really good one. So I was actually having this conversation last night.
I love it.
Because I don't know. Again, we talked about perimenopause a little bit. My hormones are a little crazy.
Wild.
So I think it heightens everything, right? Especially my anxious side, if you will.
100%.
And I think I need to let go of control in the way I think things need to be done, which kind of relates to what you're saying. I am not, which this might break me, but I am not a do dishes after the kids are in bed kind of gal. I am clean as soon as dinner's over.
Yeah, we are too.
So that like it can just whatever. But like to your point, that's kind of a big chunk of time I could be present, that I am trying to keep my space clean. There is something about that for me too, of just like keeping it clean. And it's kind of like, but I'm also just beat. After they're in bed, I'm in bed. So it's like, I don't have the time want to then go do that and wake people up or like whatever. But like, can I carve out like, okay, this is our 30-minute game time.
Yeah.
Or just making something a little less
heightened,
or even just like, I think it's letting go of control of what I think needs to happen and when, because then it drives everybody crazy. It's like, oh, mom's doing the dishes, she put her earbuds in and she's like zoned in or whatever. I think that's one thing I'm really going to try to be.
So what with the dishes, the way I've handled this, Ashley, is like the nights that we have a bunch of people over, we typically don't put certain things in the dishwasher, like you hand wash certain things, which is the time consuming part, right? But on those nights, it's like every pot, every pan, every sheet pan is going in that dishwasher. And we're like, I don't give a F, because you're like, I am done. And I want to go sit with my friends. Right. Sure. So like, I do think there's different strategies, but I love that it's actually about like cleaning and feeling like things need to be just so. So it's a little bit of this like type A perfectionist.
And I think that's the one type of control that is present every day. Like you're not packing for a trip all the time, right? You're not getting the kids ready all the time, or you're not. This is one of the things, at least both of us type A people share, is trying to keep a cleanly home where you can like, when I get around too much clutter, I start to like, I can't function, I think, because it's just like, I'm thinking it's keeping me in the future of like, I gotta do this in 10 minutes. But it's like, also who cares?
So like, what could we do for each other to support? Like, what would support look like when you are having anxiety? I'll tell you one that doesn't work for me, because that's, of course, I always think about like, well, what do I need? Sometimes we don't know. But like, what doesn't work for me is having Matt say, do you really need to clean right now? Instead, maybe what would work for me could be, come play with us, or let's do this later and let's play a game with the kids. You know, I don't know. I think there's something about like supporting someone who has anxiety you can see they're clearly anxious about something. And instead of like magnifying the flaw, focusing on what else they could be doing.
Totally. And
I don't know, maybe that's a recipe.
I think part of it too starts with you being open and honest to how you're feeling, and you have to communicate it first. Because, well, God, this was last night because I was a little anxious, and I was like, this is how I was feeling, and I don't know why. I'm also the type of person that like, I will give my 100% into a lot that I do. That I become so burnt out
Yeah.
that I retreat and then I'm overstimulated, and no one wants an overstimulated stay-at-home mom. They don't. They don't want that. Or any human.
Or any mom,
right?
or
Like,
dad, or anybody
just
overstimulated. It's not a good way to be.
No.
Yeah.
And I think, so I was like trying to explain to my husband my feelings, and it was just like one of those things where he was just like, he kind of got it. And it was kind of just like, I'm a sensi. I feel deeply. I express deeply, strongly, passionately, whatever. But it's, I think first letting whoever you're having these lash outs to or whatever, when this anxiety is present, I feel like just being understood
helps. Yeah.
helps. And maybe again, this is my rumination about, do people understand me? I don't know. I'm a good person, but like just being like, hey, this is where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
I also know it's an issue. Like, I'm not trying to put blame on someone else,
Right.
but just being like, when I get like this, I need you to either check me or blah,
Hug
blah, blah.
me or hug
But
me.
yeah, or what doesn't help in this situation is blah, blah, blah. I feel like there's also this, I do this better with girlfriends, but like just, it's either do you need conversation or comfort? Right now, I don't want to conversate. I just want to like be like, this time feeling, you're like, oh, me too. And then you're like, oh. Like, we don't need to talk about it.
Right.
I don't need you to justify that I'm right or wrong.
Right.
I just need to be heard. And I think that you and I could do for each other to say, girl,
Yeah.
this happened today. And you'd be like, me too. And I'm like,
Damn it.
we did it.
Exactly.
But I think communication and all of it, you need to be by your people. You're not supposed to like
We're
sit in
social
your
beings.
own anxiousness and not connect with humans in a way that can't help you solve.
Yeah.
That to me, that's a huge part of it.
I think the other thing I'm calling back from a number of episodes ago, which was we were talking about the hype squad and how you're like the emotional like dumpster, I called it, where we can just kind of vent,
Yes.
but also like just in the moment of anxiety, I think there is just something about a person who can come up to you and diffuse you in a loving, kind, understanding way. And I think like, isn't that what we're all trying to do, Ashley, is just be more loving, kind, and understanding individuals, having empathy for one another, relating to your point with one another. If you're not, a person who gets trapped in this anxiety, I'm just like so envious, but I'm also like, I don't know, it's just so a part of who I am. I think I just have to deal with it better.
I know. Well, and I think this far in, we don't know any different.
Right.
So we're
so
learning
trained.
to thrive with it now. And at least we're aware. I think part of knowing who you are later in life is being aware what makes you tick, how you can do better, and realizing you're not perfect. We all set out to be, but let's check ourselves to enjoy this joy.
Yes.
And take away from the things that makes us feel anxious. So
I agree.
We're so glad you joined us today.
Yeah.
And remember, after every breakdown,
don't forget the bubbles. And if you guys are loving bubbles and breakdowns as much as we enjoy chatting every week, I hope that you have already followed us on Instagram, that you can, find our episodes, follow that on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. We're so happy that you're along on this breakdown and bubbly journey with us. We'll catch you on the next episode.
thanks.
Cheers.